Hi, I'm Sandy Wilson, and I'm the president and owner of Allyns Fabrics and Bridal Supplies. A labor of love for 62 years. We've owned it for all that time, and it's a family business, and we have all kinds of I'm sorry, I'm playing with my glasses. We have all kinds of wonderful fabrics. Our quality is first. We don't try to compete with the internet because you don't know what you're getting on the internet. Here you know who you're talking to. We're a business run with integrity, and we have your project at our heart. We want to make sure everything is done right the first time. We don't hardly ever have returns because we get it right the first time. Anyway, it's been a labor of love, as I said before. We have lots of loyal customers that come in, some every week, some every few years, but it depends on how often they need us. This is well, believe it or not, this is the largest collection of bridal that anybody knows of in the state. Well, actually in the country. We have just thousands of bridal fabrics, as you can see behind me. That's a drop in a bucket. Anyway, every kind of trim, beaded and unbeaded, for veils, for the dresses, for mothers of the bride. We have all the different colors from stark white to warm white to silk white. Nowadays, silk white and diamond white are usually where it's at, into the ivories and the champagnes. In the front of the room, in the front of the store, we have all the wonderful silks, prints, solids, charmeuses, all kinds of beautiful things, dupionis. You will probably be hard-pressed to find a better selection in the whole country. And our prices are quite reasonable. We have a downstairs, which is costume, a whole room of stretch fabric, which we use, of course, for costumers and ice skaters and horseback riders and all sorts of needs. Tutus, all that little fun, dancy stuff. And then, lots of dancers, actually, all kinds of dancers. We have brocades, sparkly fabrics. And then we have, of course, the linens and the wools, as well as the silks, cottons, really fine quality. We have cottons from Giza Egyptian cotton to ordinary run-of-the-mill kind of stuff. But boy, this is an experience. You cannot explain this store. You have to experience it. If at all possible, if you're ever in Denver, Englewood is just south of Denver, and it's just a wonderful place. People come in here and I say, breathe, because it's just not what you expect to see. Everybody realizes nowadays that fabric stores like this, mom and pop places, are just a thing of the past. But we're still here. And we have such a selection. If you walk through the store with me, you will see it's just amazing. So, what else can I tell you? Hi, it's Sandy Wilson again, and I want to take you through a tour of the store. First, we're starting in the bridal room, which is, I guess you could say, our main business. If you can't find it here, you're probably not going to find it. This is the most comprehensive selection of bridal laces anywhere that we know of. This is beaded and unbeaded, champagne to ivory to silk white to whites, and pretty much all the colors that you would need for bridal. Of course, nowadays people do a lot of things that aren't white. We can help you with that too. These are just trims. This whole wall is full of beaded trims, and they're wonderful for bridal veils or edges of trim on dresses. And then we have lots and lots of beaded trims like for straps, all kinds of wonderful things for adding a little extra to that dress. Then we have, these are all embroidered organzas. A few of them even have a touch of color on them. And you can actually put different things underneath them. Even prints could be really pretty underneath stuff like that one there. This is beautiful with the print underneath, or contrast color. So they're also great for christening gowns and flower girls. And of course you can use them for bridesmaids. In the front of the store we have things like that in colors. Also wonderful for pageants, proms, and mothers of the bride. So these are extra wide, heavier laces, sometimes called guipure or Venice lace, and they come from all over the world. This particular one is made on Swiss machines. It's really high quality stuff, beautiful. It's actually got a French design. There's the right side. And then we have a whole row of trims that go with the guipure or the Venice laces. Whites on this side, ivories on this side. And these are just more fabrics. There's a whole lot to talk about, so we're going to try to make this concise. These are polyesters and then cottons. And they are wonderful by themselves, or you may like them as a liner for an outdoor wedding that tends to be a little toasty sometimes. This whole wall is French lace. The real McCoy, you rarely see real French lace anymore. You see a lot of the copies. But it's gorgeous stuff. Cotton background with a rayon cord. That's called Alençon. It's from Alençon, France. Or originally from Alençon, France. Anyway. Then there are chantillies. Chantillies are the ones that are not corded. This whole row is chantilly. And little trims to wider, enough to make a veil or an overlay for a gown. And then there's some little inexpensive things here too for crafty people. But this whole row, this whole case is beaded, mostly French lace, absolutely exquisite. See, now this one you can cut in two. One side's wider than the other. In many cases we still have the wide goods, like a 36-inch that might even match this. So if you want to make a dress that's really vintage quality, not just so, this is the good stuff. Anyhow, then we have all kinds of coordinating things, even feathers, like the boa here. Flowers, silk flowers. We have, this is a piece of cutwork satin that we just put on display. It is really pretty with a contrast color underneath it. And this is actually a washable polyester. You just wash it in cold. So, getting back to this side of the room, this is a whole case of rhinestone appliques and trims. Just, well, when you look at the website, you'll see a lot more detail, but all kinds of beautiful trims. Nice for sashes, straps, or just a little applique sometimes. We'll get to more detail in a little bit. We'll show you more on that one. We have really high quality pearls, really good stuff. Great luster. It won't come off in dry cleaning. Then, those are just simple eyelets for the little casual dress. These are more of your cutwork satins, which are beautiful, or embroidered satins. This has got silver embroidery. Isn't that something? Oh, man, beautiful. These are Shiffley laces. This falls into the vintage category. Some people like to make vintage looking dresses, and we have trims as well. And then this wall, this is all just tools for various kinds of overlays and veils and well, it's just used tool for a whole lot of different things these days. These are all embellished silks up here, beaded and tucked, pleated. Look at that. Isn't that stunning? This is a crinkled 2-layered silk with hand beading on it. Absolutely gorgeous. Then the rest of these down to here are silk for the most part and synthetic from there down. We have just about every kind of white shade and fiber that you would want for a wedding gown or other needs where you'd want white. So we should now go to the front room. I'll set these down over here. So, when you walk into the front room, you just see a great splash of color and textures and just beautiful, beautiful stuff. This side of the room is especially nice. This is the silk side. It's a little messy right now because we've had people pulling things out. But we have satins, organzas, dupiones, chiffons, charmeuses, China silks, and then these wonderful prints, including burnouts. Most of those are silk. There's a couple of them like this one that are silk and cotton. And then there's some burnouts. Burnouts are generally rayon and silk. And then there's faux silks, because some of the companies are now going from silk to faux silk because to keep the costs under control. Then on this side we have embellished things. This particular bunch here is velvet burnouts and other burnouts, which means it's a sheer and a solid mixed. Just beautiful. You can see my hand underneath there. When you put a different color underneath there, it really pops. This is kind of in the faux silk category. It looks like silk, but you can throw it in the washing machine. It just is beautiful with the luster. There are a number of colors in this type of thing. The iridescent ones make it look like silk. They even act like silk. And if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know it wasn't silk. This is synthetic. This is the summer side. Over on the other side is the winter side. And what do we all have here? This is called caviar. It's a faux beaded polyester. Makes a beautiful dress. It's actually washable. And then embroideries. Oh, that's the bargain bin. You know, something for everybody, right? If this stuff is really kind of actually really fun and convenient, you can just throw it in the washing machine. It's really easy to travel with. It's a crinkled poly chiffon, but it's not so slinky that it's not really difficult to sew on. Then this is the winter side. Oh, this is some of our fancy stuff. Look at that. Feathers, ostrich feathers on well, you have to see this over a color like I'm wearing here. Just a second. What's going on there? Okay. This looks absolutely stunning when you put it over color. It really just makes it pop. And it's wonderful for pageant, for your extraordinary outfits. These are embroidered organzas. They're just a lot of fun. All kinds of colors. They're wonderful for little girls, bridesmaids. Some people even make curtains out of them. And they make quite beautiful curtains. This is just the lining section. There's just like hundreds and hundreds of them. Polyester and a few rayons. The next row is cotton. This whole section is just on the black or black blending side. This one has, you can see with the blue underneath, the teal underneath there, how pretty that is, because it really makes the color pop. When you see black on black, it doesn't really do that much. You need a little something sometimes underneath it. So, then we have French laces in black as well. This whole section here just happens to be majority French lace, which are quite elegant. This one is beaded French Chantilly. I've seen this featured in some of the magazines like Vogue and so forth. That's a whole row of cotton fabric predominantly. And then on this side of the store we have rayons. Wonderful rayons, so comfortable. Some are, that one's sheer, but most of them are solid enough that you don't have to line them. They feel just great. And these are your fancies, embellished colors. All kinds of pretty things. There's not much left of that one, but sometimes you don't need much for just a bodice. Now the one on the window here is in the fall tones. And of course, whatever you put underneath it is going to make it pop. It looks pretty over green. You've got it shown under champagne, or over champagne. Those are more rayons. Some of our hats. The whole store started out as hats, so it is still laden with hats.